Good afternoon and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. We are extending a very special welcome to all the notaries who are joining us for the first time who might have registered at the NNA conference. This is TNT, the nation's longest running free coaching program for notaries. And a very special hello to everybody who is watching us on replay on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. What is TNT? Well, you are stepping into a room where growth is not optional. It's expected, where ideas get refined, confidence gets stronger, and notaries who are serious about leveling up show up ready to do the work. This is TNT. We go live every week to introduce fresh strategies, strengthen what's already working, recognize real progress, and coach you through the decisions that keep your business evolving and profitable. This is an Ask Me Anything style call, so no questions are off limits. Now, questions in the chat box may or may not be answered. Priority is always given to folks who raise their hand, and you can find your virtual hand at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You can also check out that chat box for room etiquette, announcements, or any speaker information that might be available that day. Also, you want to check that chat for any upcoming events and links and announcements that we are talking about here in just a minute. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Jen Neitzel. I am the creator of Marketing for Notaries and the 5-Point Marketing System, the co-creator of the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent Program, and author of On the Move. I am joined by my fabulous co-host, the GOAT herself, the 2026 Notary of the Year, Miss Laura Bewer. Good morning. Good afternoon, Laura. I don't know why I'm convinced
Good,
it's morning.
good afternoon, Jen. So good to be here with everybody today. I always look forward to Tuesdays.
Absolutely.
I just love this particular call. So thank you all for joining us. And thank you for those who are able to turn on your cameras, assuming you're in a safe space to do so, because it really helps with the energy. It helps when I can see a face that I'm answering a question to.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. Really does help presenters when you guys have your cameras on, but no pressure if you can. If you're, at work or you're driving, safety comes first. Now, I also want to introduce to you the guy who really makes this call run in the background, Matt Miller, the president of the California League of Independent Notaries. Hey, Matt.
Hey Jen, hey Laura, good afternoon, everyone. I'm also looking forward to today's call because we have got a lot to talk about.
Yes,
So
we
get those
do.
hands raised, guys.
Yeah, get those hands ready to go. Stretch them out. Okay, first, we're going to start like we always do with some announcements. And Laura, we want to talk about your book because it is making an impact all over the country.
Thank you. I am really excited. It's really an author's dream when a book gets utilized in the way that you are anticipating, which is people are using it as a field guide, they're taking it with them where they go, and they're able to real time make use of it. So if you're doing hospital, hospice, homebound signings, the compassionate notary is the field guide I wish I had when I was walking into those rooms 22 years ago. It's about doing the work well, protecting the signer, and protecting yourself. So you can go to Amazon or you can go to my own website, coachmelora.com/books.
And the link is in the chat. And while you're on Amazon, go check out my book. It's called On the Move, the relationship driven 5-point marketing system for mobile business success. If you are running a notary business and you don't have a marketing plan, this book is something that you need to have in your arsenal. It will teach you how to market your business, how to maintain relationships. It's all about relationship marketing. Now, I want you guys today to think of one notary who needs to be in this room. Your notary friends who are not on TNT today, send them the link that's in the chat right now and tell them to hop on and join us. That's the live link. They don't even need to go register. Of course, we would love for them to, but we'd also love for them to join us today. Momentum matters. So don't send it to them later when you get a chance. Send it to them right now and say, you need to be in this room. Now, Laura and I, as you know, are the co-creators of the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent program, and we are hosting a free estate planning webinar on May 27th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern. It is totally free, and we would love for you to come learn more about the estate planning opportunity and our certification. And we'll hopefully see you guys all on the 27th. Now, Matt, I want you to tell us about your notary's future study and why it's important that everybody on this call goes to that link and fills out the survey.
Thanks, Jen. Yes, our Notary Futures survey is now open. This is a survey about what you think the business is going to be like in 2050. It's a very simple survey. It's only 10 questions. The data that we collect will be presented at this summer's National Association of Secretary of State's conference. And you will be entered to win one of five $50 Amazon gift cards. So if you haven't already done that, go to calnotaries.org, click the button at the top of the screen and take the survey and make your voice heard, guys, because your opinion matters.
Absolutely. And you say this so casually, Matt. You're like, it's going the results are going to be shared at the National Association of the Secretaries of States conference for all the secretaries of state in the country. That's a big deal. So I don't want to gloss over that. This is your opportunity to share your opinion about the future of our business and what you think, and have that opinion go directly to the secretaries of state at their annual conference. That's impressive. So hopefully you guys take it took me less than 3 minutes, I think, to fill the whole thing out, not even. So take some time this afternoon and go get that filled out. Okay. Who is going to start us off with some questions today? Let's see. Who wants to get the party started? And I'll tell you what, if we're not going to raise hands, I'm going to pull some questions off of our uh, form here. I do want to just warn everybody. I'm in Texas. We are getting ready to get some major storms. It is really dark and rainy outside right now. If I drop off, that is why. Laura's been made co-host, or Laura's been made host already, so the call can continue without me. And Stacy in East North Carolina has her hand up. Stacy, how was the North Carolina Notary Conference? You're on mute.
Disappointing news. I did not get an opportunity to go.
I'm sorry to hear
Um,
that.
but that's okay because I have been busy. I have been working my butt off. I have been attending a 12-week self business development course. Actually, this week will be week 6 of it.
Nice.
And the young lady who is heading this up, excuse me, she had received a grant that she shared with the participants. So we got a little stipend out of it. So what I'm working on now is learning how to write out my market plan. And Laura, I mean, Jen, I have been reading your book. I am
Yay.
halfway through it,
Awesome.
and I got to the part where you talked about your husband being your biggest support system and the simple thing that he has said to you that really opened your eyes. And I'm sitting there going, you know what? That makes sense. So yeah. I was like, okay, I'm loving this book. I'm halfway finished because I'm trying to read the book and do this self-development because basically they tie in together with
Yeah.
regards to writing out your marketing plan.
Hmm.
So that's going on. I took 3 hours and figured out my website this morning. So I know I'm rambling. I was supposed to ask a question, but I just kind of want to give you guys an update. Laura, I did see you with the North Carolina Notaries doing your compassionate notary webinar.
Yeah,
I was on that yesterday, but I do have your book as well. I haven't gotten through with that yet because I'm trying to
so much. Yeah.
You've got
get in
enough
the
going on right
gear.
now.
I'm trying to get
Okay.
it going. And actually, I'm going to start a networking program with some local notaries, local to me here, Rocky
Awesome.
Mount, Tarboro, Wilson, Franklin County. So I have the ladies all set up. Well,
Nice.
it's mostly ladies, but for those who want to join, we're going to be meeting on June the 6th to do a face-to-face meetup. So this way we can start our own network tree of local notaries so that when we get assignments and if we can't do it, we have our own local network tree that we can just pass it on. So
Yeah,
I
nice.
am I'm rocking and rolling.
Yeah, you are. I love it. I'm feeling that energy. I love it. I love that you are deep in learning about your business and you got a lot going on, which is really exciting. So what is your question for us today?
I don't necessarily have
Just
don't
wanted to
necessarily have,
share.
but I just wanted to share because I'm just excited about where I'm at as far as my business is concerned. So I think I've done one signing, loan signing that went well. Um, have not been getting many assignments after that, but I'm always staying positive. So as long as you stay positive, it'll come.
Yeah. So, Stacey, one of the things you're going to learn in the book, and I address this kind of right off the bat, is it takes 12 to 18 months to build a business, despite what we see on social media, which
Uh-huh.
please remember, everybody, what we see on social media is what people want us to think, not necessarily the way it is. And that's with everything, not just the notary business. But it does take, Stacey, 12 to 18 months to build a really solid referral business. And that's why having that 5 point marketing system is so important. Because here's what I know to be true from the time you get started at month 3, 6, 9, and 12, you're going to find different reasons to want to quit and say, this isn't working, this isn't working, but consistency always wins. So when you just stick with it and keep it going and do what is laid out for you, going and meeting new people, introducing your business and being loud and proud about it the way you are, success will find you because you'll
Thank
be attracting the people
you.
who are meant to find you. And it's really cool when you get to that point. You can kind of back off a little bit from all the
Right.
marketing effort at that point.
Right.
But gird your loins for the next 12 to 18 months because it's quite a ride.
I'm ready for the obstacle and all the challenges to come.
Awesome. And thank you for the compliment on the book. That means a
Very
lot.
well.
It really does. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys, who else wants to get their questions answered live? I have one on our form, Laura,
Mhm.
and I would love your input on this. It
Okay.
says, I received an order for a deed signing. The husband was signing a power of attorney on behalf of his wife. He expressed upon my arrival that the wife had passed away. We called title, and title told him to sign anyway and send the death certificate, or he will have to wait until he receives the death certificate and she will have to redraw the documents. She said to me, and or I'm assuming this is title, are you just going to sign or are you will you stop wasting my time? The client was more appalled than me. I told her that was illegal in California for him to sign a POA if a person is deceased. She said, well, then leave and stop wasting my time. What would you have done in this situation with just a really nasty title person?
I might ask, are you okay?
I love that. It's awesome. That's really
Maybe
good.
something's going on
Yeah.
uh, in that person's day because it's all about her, not about the notary that's happening. And I grabbed that trick from Jefferson Fisher when somebody's
Ah,
doing that to say, are you okay?
yeah. Is
It
everything
kind of
all
makes them
right?
stop and realize, okay, this conversation isn't going how I planned. And then, of course, I would say, I'm happy to grab the documents and leave.
Yeah. The
I'm
the the
not going to do
the
it.
the part that is hard for me with this is you're still leaving this man here who has now just realized he can't trust his title company, that they're going to do something legal and
Yeah,
you're not going to do it, right? You're going to walk
right.
away. So you're leaving this person like standing there like, now what do I do? Right? How do
And
you address that?
well, first of all, on the inside, I'm not responsible for the world,
Exactly.
right? So it's not that part of it isn't anything I can do for him. That I don't have any, I'm not an attorney. I don't have anything that I can help facilitate that other than to let him know, look, the documents are going to need to be redrawn once you have the death certificate, and then there'll be an affidavit death of joint tenant. or trustee, depending on how the house is held in title. And then it'll move on from there. But until that happens, there's really nothing I can do to help you other than to tell you I'd love to come back and take care of you once you get to that point.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to get to is just, it's okay to tell that client, to tell somebody, because it feels weird when you tell somebody, there's nothing I can do for you right now. Like you feel bad. I mean, I would feel bad for saying that, right? But you're right, there is nothing we can do, but reassure them, let them know once this is resolved, I would be happy to come back and help you with this. So, Matt, do you have anything else that you would add to that?
All of that. And I was thinking, gosh, what a great opportunity to point out to the person, hey, this is the role of the notary. I just saved you from what could possibly be an illegal transaction. So
Mhm.
another good opportunity to explain your role.
Absolutely. That's a great point. That is a great point. Yeah, make him understand why this is such a big deal. Okay, guys, let's get those hands raised. We want to answer your questions live. Hey, Jeanette in Michigan,
Hey,
you're on.
Michigan, you're out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
I had a situation yesterday and I think I messed up. I had a client last year and it was a quick deed situation. And at the time she was not married and so it was her signing in her maiden name and her fiance at the time. They called me back yesterday for a mod a modification,
Hmm.
and the paperwork was still in her maiden name.
It was
Hmm.
still
Um,
your maiden
yeah, it was
name.
still in the maiden name. Her ID, she told me both ID, and plus I remember her from last year. She had an ID that was expired in her maiden name, and
Mhm.
her current ID was in her married name. Um, and I signed it, but I think I shouldn't have.
Well, Jeanette, actually, if it had been me, I would have accepted it because she gave you the correct ID to begin with. And then I used the expired one to reconcile that maiden ID because it had a picture of her, it had her fiscal description, it had the name I was looking for, and I can't use it by itself for that name. But I can be presented with the correct driver's license or state ID and use that other one to reconcile that it is the same person. And on top of that, you had worked with her when it was current, right? So
Yes.
that together to me is sufficient. I doubt you doubt that she isn't who she claims and that that name doesn't belong to her.
Yeah, there was no question it was her. It's just that
Right,
she had gotten married
right.
in between. Okay, all right. So yeah, I just questioned myself afterwards because now the caveat is Michigan, we're not allowed to use expired ID, not even one day.
Well, you didn't,
So
you used the current ID. The only thing you
yes,
used with the expired was to resolve the name variation. That's all.
okay, all right. Well, thank you because I don't know, I felt some kind of way. I said, oh Lord, I think I messed up. But thank you. All right.
Thanks, Jeanette. That's interesting. I used to get that a lot when I worked in office for a builder title company. And it's evidence if a woman has gotten married and hasn't, changed her name on the loan documents, it's evidence that that loan officer didn't do their job by collecting the ID up front and, asking the right questions. And it forces a lot of times things to be redrawn at the end. So I'm glad that worked out for you, Jeanette. Matt, did you have anything you wanted to add to that one?
Yeah, the only thing I would add is, Jeanette, I think you're doubly safe because a Michigan notary is authorized to use personal knowledge as
Mhm.
identification as well. And since you have already worked with that person and already proven their identity, you could always lean on that as subsequent
Mhm.
verification.
Yeah. I think I would make a note of that in your journal, Jeanette, just so you can recall that if you need to down the road. All right, guys,
I
who
did.
else
I
has
did make a note. Yeah. Thank
Oh,
you. Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. Who else has a question for us? Please just raise your hand. It's at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And while you're doing that, I have another interesting question. This kind of falls in the marketing category, but I do, Matt and Laura, want you guys' opinion on this. Um, I'm still looking for my first opportunity. I have a website. I am findable in my area. What do I need to generate my first notary assignment? It's a big question.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at it from I'd like to get an appointment under my belt. I'd like to actually have to fill out a journal and use my stamp. I'd like to actually say I've done a notarization.
Hmm.
Thinking from that. And my very first one that I did was for a cousin of mine, for something I had nothing to do with. She doesn't even, live in my area. And I met her at a restaurant just so that I could notarize a document and be able to say I did it. And let me tell you, my hands were kind of shaking when I was trying to fill out that journal. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I had not been trained by the NNA when I became a notary. I found them about a year and a half later. So I would look to see, is there anybody, a friend, a colleague, somebody who might need a notarization that you could put in there and at least be able to get that first one done.
Yeah.
That's not actually talking about marketing. That's just addressing the fear of notarizing when you haven't done one yet.
Yeah. Well, but that's a real thing because when you were saying all that, and I saw Matt kind of nodding his head too, talking about that first
Yeah,
notarization, I was
man.
very shaky too. And like, I mean, not even just the first one, like several, but am I doing this the right way? I'm following the instructions. I just felt like I wanted to go at a turtle pace because I was so nervous about that. Is that how you felt too, Matt?
Yeah, the first one, it was, oh gosh, as I was doing it, was I doing everything right? When I left, did I do everything right?
Hmm.
And the more you do it, the more confident you become. But I'll tell you, every now and again, if I am at a session where I've got a stack of documents with multiple different people, when I walk away, sometimes I'll think, "Gosh, did I stamp that one?"
Yeah.
Hmm.
It still runs across your mind because
Yep.
it becomes so automatic that you don't even realize you're doing it anymore. But
Yeah.
back to the question, you know, I like Laura's perspective, and I'm going to build on that. It starts with your circle, right? Your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, your schoolmates. Tell everybody you know that you're a
Hmm.
notary. And then they'll tell people they know that you're a notary, and you'll
Hmm.
get more jobs than you can handle before you know it.
Yeah, that's accurate. Now, I'm going to address this from the more marketing perspective. So, um, I found interest in this line. I am findable in my area. But you just told us, this was foothillsnotary.net, so I'm not quite sure who that is, but having a website is not what makes you findable in your area. The one thing, and websites are important. I'm not saying they're not, especially if you're going to book appointments on them and have a booking calendar and all of that. But I didn't see anything in here about a Google business profile. You have to think when you are sitting down to raise
Yeah.
awareness about your business in your community, put yourself in the shoes of somebody searching for a notary. What would you do if you were searching for a notary? I'm going to say chances are pretty good, 9 times out of 10, you're going to go to Google and say, find me a notary near me, right? Or who's the best notary in my town or whatever, notary near me. And that brings up those Google profile listings. They're free. They're something that you can build on. I tell people to sort of treat it like social media and make sure you're interacting with it at least a couple of times a week, posting pictures of you around town so that the algorithm indexes what it's learning about you and the process to help push you up into that coveted top 3 spot on Google. But that is what if direct marketing and relationship marketing seems impossible in the moment or just a little bit too big of a mountain to climb, you want to really focus in on your Google business profile to help get the word out about your business. I want to move away from the idea that you have to have a website in order to start a business. You don't have to have a website. You have to have a Google business profile. And Cynthia has her hands up. Hey, Cynthia, are you in California? Remind me.
Me, right?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay. Hi. I'm in Colorado.
Colorado. I knew it started
Colorado.
with a C.
Close.
You were very close.
I was close.
So I've been acting as a witness a lot. I've done a few notarizations on my own now, so I'm getting my feet a little wet. Yay! Um, I feel embarrassed to ask this, but I know this is the place where you don't need to feel embarrassed because that's how
That's
we
right.
learn. So regarding journaling, I've been acting as a witness on a lot of a few full trust deliveries. And my question is, and then when I got to do a couple of my own, it wasn't a full trust delivery, but it was multiple documents, um, estate planning documents. Um, when you are filling out your journal, can you put more than one document in one line?
So this is very state specific. It
Oh, okay, okay,
depends on what the Secretary of State says about requiring a journal, and if it's required, what elements are required and how they have to be filled out.
okay.
So I don't know off the top what Colorado's is. Do you have a journal requirement in Colorado?
Yes,
Okay,
that
so
I
then
know.
the next level would be, did they tell you what items must be included in every entry?
Okay, that's easy.
And so that, right, so that's what's gonna tell me whether or not I could have more than one occupied in one entry.
And
Is
then
go
the
back to the rules.
okay, thank you. That's easy enough.
For
And
those
then
who are, okay, I just want to add, for those who
yeah,
are not in Colorado, some of you aren't required to have a journal at all, so it means whatever you want to record, however you want to record it is going to be fine. It's for you. And then for those who require a journal, but they don't really give you direction on what needs to be in there, again, more is better for your protection. Uh, but make sure that you're at least establishing minimum amount of information so you know when you met them and who they were and what was the document involved and if you charged them any money.
okay. That's good.
Yeah.
And then what I noticed about the trust delivery is that at the end of the transaction, when he's gathering signatures, he just has each person sign once. So you don't need their signature for every document that you're writing in your journal. And I'll look at my rules, of course, but
Again, yeah, that's going to be anything to do with the journal is very state specific. In
okay.
California, I got to get those signatures. In other states, that may not be. There's one state, I can't think of it off the top, that doesn't require a signature, any signatures in their journal, the signer's signature at all.
Oh,
So
wow.
you have to really know what your state says about that.
Okay, I'll study those really well. Um,
Matt, have you had a chance to look at those while
Yeah,
I could tell you
Colorado.
were scanning something.
Yeah, Colorado doesn't seem to have any specifics on whether or not you can use
more than
or
one line.
whether or not you can include multiple documents for the same signer in a single entry. The only states that I know for sure you cannot is California, Hawaii, and Pennsylvania. They require a separate complete entry for each notarization. But I would suggest to anyone who wants to do that to use a journal that's set up for this kind of practice,
Yeah.
right? Use an integrity journal, or the modern journal, or an e-journal. Guys, if you're allowed to use those in your state, that really solves the problem.
And then if you want to just switch, since I just have like the general one you start with that's offered on the National Notary Association site, it's like a really, the horizontal thing goes all the way across. Which it's fine. I mean, I definitely want to learn to be really accurate and really thorough and really, put extra details regarding each notarization so that if it's needed in the future, I want to get good at doing all that right every time. But is it bad if you switch? Like if I just leave the rest of the journal blank and okay.
You
All
can
right, cool.
switch out anytime. You don't have to
Just make sure that you indicate
end
that
journal.
you're ending this journal here and you can never use it again.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
And I am Cynthia. I'm going to put the Notary e-journal link in the chat so
Yeah.
Thank
you
you.
can check that out as well. Boy, that's been game. Laura introduced me to that a while ago, and boy, it is a game changer. It makes things a heck of a lot easier.
I watched
100%.
Laura doing the mock one in our training in the classroom, and I see she uses it in there. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And Shayla, another notary I work with quite a lot for
Yeah,
witnessing,
I know
she
Sheila.
yeah, she uses it, and I know she loves it.
Oh yeah.
Um, is it it's fine to switch to electronic as well from a written to
Yeah,
In
say,
Colorado, yes.
In Colorado, it is, I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
okay,
You always start at the state level. Anytime you have a question like that pops in your head, you always want to start at the state level. What does your state allow? We're always going to quantify that here because we have so
sure.
many of you from across the country. Want to keep reminding everybody, always check with your state first.
But in California, Laura, you were saying that you have to get a signature for each person on every different
Well,
document.
it's one of the elements. However, in an e-journal, you only have to get it one time,
Right.
and then it will populate it for all the other ones.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's just
that-
click every,
Yeah,
acknowledgement, jurat, acknowledgement, jurat, whatever it is, like you just,
it
or
just
it'll,
puts it in
power of
for you.
attorney or
Yep.
yeah, that sounds really, really tempting to do right now.
It's a great investment. I would
it is a
never go
great.
back to a paper journal.
I don't think I would
Okay.
either. Yeah, it really is. And the thing I really love about it is when you pull it out and you are using it, your customers are like,
Oh, they love it.
wow.
Yeah,
They're like, you guys
coolness
are
factor.
jumping into the 21st century.
Yeah.
One other really cool thing about the e-journal that I've noticed is that for older signers, that like the thick, I don't know if it's the stylus or whatever you call it, the
Mhm.
pen. It seems like it's a lot easier for them to sign because it's like wider or Shayla's is anyway, and the the keyboard or I mean the screen is really sensitive to the pen, so it
Mhm.
seems like it's easier for them.
It
So
is, yeah,
I
it is
think
a
that's gonna be one of the next investments I make.
it
So
is a great one. It
okay,
really is. And a
thank
huge
you.
time saver. Thanks for the question,
Yeah,
Cynthia.
thank you to all three of you.
Joanne in Seattle. Hey, Joanne.
Hi, Jen. Hi, everyone. Question on using like a spouse or I don't know, child, I guess, to be a document witness. Um, and the signatures get to be notarized on the self-approving affidavit. I don't know. I just kind of thought about that. You know how like, well, we should not be notarizing spouse or I don't know, close family members.
You know,
Is that
that depends. That's not always the rule. One is look at the document instructions to see if there's any prohibitions for family members to be document witnesses. As long as they're impartial, they're nothing to do with whatever that document is, or they're not inheriting if it's that kind of document. And the document does not disqualify them by marriage or by blood, then they could be, and the child would be an adult child, I assume, meaning over 18. I don't think they're your best witnesses, frankly. I always ask, can you get a neighbor or a friend, somebody else? But I will tell you that it is possible for a spouse or an adult child to be a witness, but you have to look at what kind of document is it? Could they have involvement? And are there any instructions on that document that prohibit it?
okay? How about then if the notary has to provide witnesses and they bring husband a child? How
Yeah,
is that looked at?
they're not related to your signer, so who cares?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for asking.
I think we may have
Helena.
lost Jen.
I lost Jen. Okay, so Helena, go ahead and unmute. And what is your question?
Hi, I have a question about a loan signing. I've been kind of hesitant to to have interest in this particular signing because I've never seen this before. Schools First Equity Loan Docs partially e-signed hybrid. What does that mean? Partially e-signed hybrid.
So it means some of the documents that are not notarized are going to be signed like through eDocs, what do you call that? DocuSign kind of
DocuSign.
platform. And they're going to sign all of those, and the notary's only going to print those that they require a wet signature on or notarization.
Oh, that's it. So
Yeah,
that's
so that's
okay.
what
That's
the
already done. I
pieces
don't have
are.
to witness. Okay. Okay.
So
Thank
in
you.
your case, your California is probably going to be the deed. It might be the note. It might be the affidavit, like owner's affidavit, those sort of things.
Yeah,
Recordable.
anything notarized,
Anything notarized.
you're gonna have to print.
Yeah,
But
but
all
not
those
the whole
other,
package.
yeah, not the whole package.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you. I've just got a little stuck on the partially e-signing. I've never done that before. So thank
Yeah,
you
they
so
should
much.
have done it before they got to you.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
That's that way I know what to expect.
Uh-huh.
Thank you so much.
You're
Okay.
welcome. All right, Joanne, you have another question?
No, sorry.
Nope. Right. Jen lost power. She's texted me. She can't seem to get back on. So keep trying. Okay, but we still have time. And Celicia, I see your hand is up.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for the CNTDA because the amount of calm that it gives me. I mean, have I done a will? Sure. Have I done a power of attorney? Sure. But it really is, it's like, baking the whole cake from
Yeah.
start to finish. You go out and milk the cow and get the butter, get the
Right.
eggs. I mean, it really is a start to finish on the cake and you get the whole picture. And I mean, I got a call from an attorney who's coming in from out of state because they have clients here, and I'm going to do a day and a half with them.
Wow.
Doing
That's fabulous.
Wow.
doing, like 9 or 10, and some of them are longer, some are shorter.
Yeah.
And, you got to figure out what you're going to pay me. And I said, well, we normally do, 150 to 250 on each one of these kinds of documents. You really can't tell until you can see we know the work, we can quote the fee.
Yeah.
And he said, well, how does $1,500 sound? Well, that'll work.
Great.
That'll work.
That'll
You
work.
got me.
That'll work.
Wow.
So,
And I
Great job.
agree, Celicia.
I'm
It
just,
does.
so excited because when you're talking to people and you say things like pour over will and, advanced directives and
Right.
they just fall right off your mouth. And it almost sounds like you know what you're doing. It does.
It
It
does.
does sound like you know what you're doing. So I just want to say thank you for CNTDA because I love it. And, it's kind of the same thing about loan signings. It's like you don't know how to do them and you're scared of them. And then you take the training and then now you got it. Zip.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So, and
So-
I just, even though I'm the co-creator, I have to tell you, so I just got a call. I was walking my dog just before this call. And he didn't say he was an attorney. He just said, hey, can you take care of some notarizations on Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, next weekend, out in Manteca, which is about a half an hour from me. And I said, sure, I can do that for you. And he said, okay, well, I need to call the clients and they're going to come to my office to do the signing, and I'll give you the address and what have you. And so he said, well, what's your fee? So right now, I don't know he's an attorney. I don't know that it's estate planning documents. I say, well, my fee to go to Manteca is this amount, and it's 15 per signature at the table. And he said, okay, great. We're going to be doing a trust. Now he disclosed it. I'm an attorney, right? He withheld that information from me at first. And I said, all right, well, I mean, but he didn't balk at my fees. He starts to say, well, look, he starts counting the documents. I said, so I think you're going to have about 6 documents. You have 2 signers. That's 12 notarizations. And because I know what a trust is made of, and he's like, yeah, exactly. He right away, and then he started to further the conversation, and he said, I had somebody, a notary I worked with for 6 years, same notary, but she moved to the Bay Area and she's too far now. So I need to develop a relationship with a new notary, and I want to use the same notary every time, I would love to talk to you about that for future appointments.
You
Right?
betcha.
And I think it was because I was able to right away, as soon as he disclosed what he was about and what he needed, he could tell, okay, I know what you're talking about exactly. Now, we didn't discuss fees any further because I'll talk about that when I'm with him. And then the last thing I asked is, how did you find me? He said Yelp. And, Yelp, I don't have paid ads for Yelp, but I do have a profile.
Yeah,
I
you do have to have a
probably,
profile. You have
yeah,
to have a profile for Yelp because Bing and Yahoo pull from Yelp for their
Yeah.
searches.
they do. I get a lot of leads. Actually, for an unpaid profile, I probably get 20 to 30 leads a month
Mhm.
from them. Now that they're not all turned out to be the right people for me. Sometimes they want to go to an office, they don't always know what they want. But I would say about 25% of them turn into jobs for me. And I'm not paying for that, right? Just like I don't pay for the Google. But I always ask, how did you find me? And so now meeting with this guy, and I'm glad I said yes. I mean, here he hears, wow, being on a holiday weekend, not a problem. Does that change your fee? Nope. It was all good. So I have a real opportunity to start another attorney relationship. And that's what I do. I like to just have a few. I don't have 100 attorneys, just a few that they want to have an ongoing relationship with me as their notary. So CNTDA, I'm glad that I got involved in trust back in 2010 when loan signings were still kaput, and I never looked back. All right, anybody else? Jeanette, I can't tell, the sun's in my eyes here, but I think you have your hand up again.
Yep.
Yeah, I do. I had a situation where you guys were talking about, this volume, where a client had contacted me, I think last Friday. It was kind of late, and they didn't know exactly between 50 and 75 notarizations. And so I asked him, I said, well, what kind of, because I've never had that many before, other than maybe on Zoom, there's
Yeah,
like 200 on the Zoom. But so he said it was all, a real estate transaction. So bottom line, by the time I got back to him, it was only like 6 minutes between the time they contacted me and I got back. They had found another notary. I said, okay, well, if anything changes, call me. The next day they called. I did set up an appointment and I took my son with me, who is a notary too, but I needed somebody to help me like count because he didn't know what he had. He didn't know how many he had, and I
yeah,
needed somebody to help me with the count and possibly help with the notarization if it was allowed. But I needed some help because I had never had that many to do paper. When I got there, he presents a bunch of certificates with nothing to go with them. And I said,
Mhm.
sir, I just can't sign these. And then he went on to say, blah, blah, blah. But if I did that, it would, I didn't have to print anything. Thank goodness. It would have been a stack, probably
yeah,
large. But I kept explaining to him, I just can't sign certificates. And I called, NNA, and I asked them because I wanted to. I was pretty sure, but I just wanted to verify,
sure.
for myself and for him. And I had, I let the lady know that I do have you on speaker, and she said that, that was right. The bottom line is, I was glad that I had my son with me because the guy started off with a high number that he was gonna, pay me. And
Yeah,
then, I didn't really know until I got there. So it was going to be quite a bit. But I'm
uh-huh,
just saying, my son would have probably signed that because, he's new and he's
yeah,
not had the training yet. So I just wanted to, let you guys know. It was very tempting because I was going to get paid well, but it wasn't worth my commission at the end of the
yeah,
day.
That's
exactly.
right.
Never worth the commission. All right, thanks for sharing, Jeanette. Does anybody else have a question that they want to pose? We don't have to stretch it out to 1:15 if there isn't any.
I have a
Uh,
question, Melissa.
uh-huh.
Um, I maybe I didn't understand what she was doing. She said when she went there, there was no I guess certificates attached? Could she
No,
have?
no document, only certificates. And so we
Oh,
cannot handle certificates alone. We've got
right.
to have a document.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
That's okay. If you missed it, then that's what you missed.
And notary should be watching for this because this has
Yeah.
popped up several times for me this year alone. Um, I don't know what is going on, if lawyers don't want to print anymore, or if people don't want to print anymore, but I've been presented with the signature page or the signature page and the notary page.
Mhm.
And
Just can't do it. Matt, you froze. So we're not hearing you. We'll see if he
we
unfreezes
don't,
here.
yeah, I don't know what you're attaching it to. So watch out for that, guys.
I also just had a package that I prepared and uh, the affidavit of occupation. So I forget what it was. But anyways, there was only pages 6 of 10. And so I wrote them back with any questions I had, if they could please send the rest of the document, because since there's a jurat in there, I need to see the whole document. So they were saying, oh, we never send them because there's nothing to sign on them, but they sent them to
Doesn't
me.
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I asked.
good.
Okay, anybody else?
No one else?
Someone else?
There we go, Joanne.
Yes, Joanne.
Um, maybe Matt, that's something you can present at Secretary of State because I've had experiences like that as well, and whether it's just people not knowing, even attorneys, because they don't know specifically the notary law, they think, oh, just stamp and sign. So I think that's why they just,
I
print.
think it's a combination of that and people getting lazy. But yes, Laura and I are going to do a mini presentation on legal and illegal requests at the SO at NAS. So we'll be talking about those things.
Nice.
But you
Oh,
always need to see the whole document, regardless.
right, right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Joanne. Paula, you're on mute. Let's see. Go ahead. No, we can't hear you. Turn it off, turn it on. Make sure that the microphone, there's a little caret down in the audio section in the left bottom. Check that to make sure it's aligned up with the speaker for your computer. No? All right, sometimes that happens, and what you would want to do is get out and come back in. And
Or
we'll
just
put
type
your
your
hand,
question in the
or
chat
type it in the chat.
and I'll read it aloud for you. Anyways, in the meantime, folks, click the react button at the bottom and raise your hands. Let's get those questions and comments coming up. We've got about 10 minutes left. All right, well, let's see here.
I wish I had something, some kind of assignment, but I didn't this week. Although I will tell you guys that I did a seller's packet. I don't do real estate stuff very often, but I said yes because it was close. It was 15 pages, 2 notarizations. It was no big deal. But it still took 45 minutes because she didn't have the right information right there ready to go, and had to go looking for a trust, and had to go looking for addresses, and wasn't sure. And it was the property wasn't a trust. I think it was her dad's trust, and he's deceased, so she's the successor trustee. So it was just a little bit unusual. But so 15 pages and 2 notarizations, that would normally, anything else would probably be a 15, 20-minute appointment. That's it. But it took me 45 minutes because I wanted to make sure we hit everything. And I just had to sit there and be patient to wait for her to find what she needed to find. And that's why when they say, well, it's just 15 pages, it's easy. It's a simple one, $50. I don't think so. It's never simple. Marty has her hand up.
Does that mean you're taking me?
Marty,
It's Marty Shelton.
Marty
Yes.
Shelton, unmute.
Okay. Can you hear me? I'm speaking through my.
Who's talking?
Oh yeah, that's Marty.
That's Marty? Oh, because I see the
I
mute
have
button on her.
I think she's
I
talking to
have
her phone.
bronchitis and I'm speaking through my headset, so sorry about that. Just got a call for a power of attorney for the guy's father. He's in a nursing home. His ID's expired, so I told him about credible witnesses. So would it be okay if his wife and his daughter-in-law were witnesses? I mean, it's his father's giving power to him, the son, but can he use his wife and his daughter-in-law as credibles?
Well, they know him, so they would qualify as credible, but then
Right.
is the wife, that's the one I'd be more concerned about, involved, named, benefiting in any way with the document? That would be my concern about the wife. A wife can be a credible witness if she's not involved.
Well, it's a power of attorney for financial purposes to the
Do we
son.
know who he's assigning as agent, Marty?
Yes, his son.
His son. Okay, so
Well,
then
then
the wife
I
would
don't see
work.
a problem.
Yeah,
Okay. So I mean the son's wife.
the son's wife.
Daughter. Yes.
So they're completely separated. Yeah.
I mean, way down the line, they could be benefiting from it, but not really. So it's
The
not
thing
worth it.
is, Marty, so I want to talk about spouses. So say the son is named as the agent. He's got a wife, and the wife is acting as a credible witness.
Mhm.
An agent for a power of attorney doesn't mean he's getting stuff. He's managing stuff.
Correct.
He's assisting the principal. So it's not like he's getting all the guy's money and all of that. So I don't really have an issue then with the spouse for that.
Okay. I didn't think so. Thank you very much. Perfect.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. That's a good question.
It is.
Over.
Who else has a question? We got time for one more. Paula, were you able to punch yours in the chat for us?
Apollo put something in the
Oh, there
chat.
it is.
Says the mechanism you use to verify driver's license, whatever was the app used. I'm not sure I understand that question.
So I know that there are some apps out there that will read the barcode off the back, and that way you can compare it to the front. Laura and I and several others, that's built into our e-journal. So we scan the back barcode with our e-journal, and then it populates all the information, and we compare that to the front to make sure it is accurate. But whatever app you use, that does not take the place of your best judgment.
Right.
You still need to do the identity proofing and verification, even if you do scan it with something.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Faith, your screen is black, but I think you put your hand up.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. So I have a question. I had a Mylar sheet notarization,
Mm-hmm.
very bizarre thing. And so, I used my stamp. I waited
Mm-hmm.
to have it dry. And I just wanted to know if anybody had any experience notarizing a Mylar
Yes.
sheet. I mean, it was odd that it was just a bunch of stamps on this plastic
Yeah.
sheet or something like. Yes.
All right. Well, so Faith, are you in California or are you
No,
Faith?
I'm in
Texas?
Texas. Yes.
All right. So I don't know the rules in Texas, but here's what I'll tell you about these Mylar plat maps is that it's the one time when the notary wouldn't use their stamp. We would just sign it, sign the certificate information that was actually already on it, as well as the signer. And you would not use a regular pen. You would use a permanent ink pen like a Sharpie. You can also buy Mylar pens on Amazon. And those dry on there so the ink doesn't smear. The ink on your seal will smear. And so during handling, and so it's a recorded document, and the recorder's office doesn't want it, and they don't want you to emboss it, and they don't want you to add a certificate to it. Matt?
Yeah, so yeah, that's California. You never stamp a Mylar mop, but I'm looking at an article that the National Notary Association put out, and it says, yes, a Texas notary must use a seal of office on a Mylar map.
Oh,
And they suggest to use a very specific ink called Stays On, Stazon, which is solvent based and does not smudge. So you might want to look into something like that if you
so she would have to have a separate seal just for
Yep.
that purpose,
Yep.
because that's not the ink that goes on most notaries.
Exactly.
Wow, because here's the thing. She wanted to cover it with paper, and she happened to put the paper on top of it, and it took the ink off my stamp. So
Yeah.
I waited to have it dry, but yeah, that's what I ran into. And like I said, it was an experience, and I was just wondering if anyone had done it before. So I
So
appreciate,
a Texas notary. Well, Matt has disclosed that you don't have the
yeah,
right ink, which is
Yeah.
why it came off.
Yeah.
So you got to have special ink to do that. And that means
okay.
you're going to have either a rubber or something that will pick up the ink to apply it separate from your regular notary stamp.
And just so everyone on the call understands, Mylar is non-porous, so it doesn't absorb ink very well.
So I would have to get a different stamp also?
Well, your stamp, do you use a self-inking stamp now?
Uh, yes.
So that self-inking stamp probably doesn't have that kind of ink. So you would need like a rubber stamp that you could put the ink, apply it to that, and then the rubber stamp applies it to the Mylar. Now you can check to see if they have self-inking stamps that are with this particular ink, but I doubt it. But either way, you're going to have a separate stamp.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, good.
Okay.
It was interesting. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Welcome.
Living in the Bay Area, I see these probably 3 to 4 times a year, usually for condo conversions and things like that. But yeah, we don't ever stamp them in California. And if you do, it will likely be rejected, and your customer is going to be very upset because Mylar maps are not cheap to have made. But check your state rules because, different states have different recording rules.
Because that is an unusual
It is.
document to handle.
Yeah, I call it NA, and you're right. I had to write in it had a Sharpie. So
Mhm.
everything had to be filled out in
Right.
black ink. So yeah, I got it. Thank you.
There you go. All right, guys, unless somebody has a burning desire, I see a hand come up. We're going to start wrapping up today's episode of TNT.
Yes, what do you have for us today, Laura?
Gosh, I don't really have anything. Let me think about that for a second.
Shall we read an entry from Boldly?
You could, because we've got the time,
All right, what's today? May 19?
19th.
Let's see what May 19 is. For those
On
of you
Saturdays, we usually read a section
Yeah.
of Boldly Going, so we'll use it for today.
Okay, in the end, all that matters is how we feel and what we do about it. Because either way, we're the ones that have to live with the consequences. This is Lieutenant Dax, stardate 491195.5. As one of Earth's old television shows put it, this is your life, and we might add yours alone. Because no one else can feel your feelings, though a betazoid can empathetically reproduce them. No one else can see through your eyes, though a Vulcan-minded meld can replay mental snapshots. Nor can anyone else think with your mind, even if it's true that we're all linked through some greater consciousness. So when Dax insists that the only thing that matters is how we feel and what we do, she's not suggesting we totally disregard others. She's simply reminding us that no one is directly affected by our own decisions and actions as we are. We cannot be faulted for looking into our own welfare first, to our own needs, our own growth. This isn't as selfish as it sounds, because by acknowledging consequences, Dax also reminds us that consideration of others is an essential part of our decision-making process. Not only are others affected by what we do, their response to our actions affects us in return and may continue to affect us through our lives. I am responsible for my life. I consider my own things first, but the extent to which others impact those feelings is a sign of my spiritual growth. Very introspective.
Yeah, it is. Well,
Well,
thank you.
that's TNT, guys.
Yeah. So that wraps up another TNT. Please join us again next Tuesday at 12:15. Later this week on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. is Laura's Inner Circle. If you want to join Matt and I there, that's at 8 a.m. Pacific time to bring any questions that come up in the meantime. I hope you have a very productive week and thanks for joining us. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.